Okie dokie. Well, I'm still sick, so what else to do but sit at home and record video games? So this is Blueprints, and yeah, I'm QFW. And if you want me to prove it, give me 1 second here. Thank you. So, what do I want to do with this? I wanted to use this to give myself the conservatory, and it's never shown up since I got this ability. That's really what I want. So I still want the vault keys. That still hasn't happened. I need to find the throne room. That's what I need to find for these sanctum keys. And drain the reservoir. Another thing I need to do. Let's just get started here. What's a good outer room to get? A shrine maybe is a good thing. Let's put this here. Yeah, give myself the next power up. What would I put here? Do I want the commissary here? Would I use it? What do I use the money for? I don't need it for bookshop anymore. The swim bird isn't going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, let's just put that there. Actually, how am I doing on trophies, speaking of that? Because that's for the darebird thing. This stuff all requires me to, like, start new files. I don't know if I'm going to even bother with this stuff. But I could buy out the showroom. I need money for that. Need the diploma. That can be done later. I just need to make the jackhammer. The thing I kept talking about but never made. Logical bullseye. A few more of these. Get enough of those I can buy the blue tents, I think is what that is. Let's see what we have for sale, at least. I'm pretty sure I can buy it out. Yeah, let's take that. That's good. Shovels necessary for the jackhammer. Might as well. So I got nothing left. Hopefully I didn't just completely destroy my run for that. This is a little early for that, I think. So let's put the storeroom here. I could always just say screw the resilience of the rook, actually, to think about it. It's not doing anything for me, so what if I just decided to switch it for the king's power now? I could just do that. But I would have to draft king and queen rooms today. I'm not using my key there yet. Boudoir is good. This is going to give me 3 items, which could be good. You know what? Let's see what this does. Let's see if this power is any good. Hey, Sledgehammer is actually useful for what I'm doing right now. Ivory die is good. Coin purse is not really helpful to me today. Don't think it is, at least. It might be helpful, but I don't know what I need money for. Courtyard and den are both kind of wasted here. So let's throw the workshop down to see if I get something useful. Magnifying glass is always fine. What I really want is battery pack and broken lever, so I don't remember. What did I put in the coat check? Might have been something not super useful. Man, I'm so glad I took off the gems for the passageway. It's just a free 4-way every time. Chapel is fine. I'm not afraid of the chapel. The more money I put in here, the better, because eventually there's going to be some big payment I'm going to want to make, and then I'll kill that little pig. Well, anything here is going to be a dead end, so what's the best thing to put? Courtyard or den? I'm going to put the den there. Because chances are after I do this and take what's in this trunk, I'd never need to come back here. Whereas the courtyard, I might come back if there was, I don't know. Well, I already have a shovel, so I wouldn't need to worry about that. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. Greenhouse? What would I want the greenhouse for? That was if I had the power hammer, because I know there's a breakable wall here. Drafting studio. Hold on a second. We haven't drafted all the rooms yet. Let's get this in, because I'm going to want this. We have done this safe, I believe. This is the one. Yeah, this one with the tiny letter in it. Okay, I remember now. I remember we did this. I don't always record these all one after the other. I don't remember what I've done. Okay, what do we have? Dovecote, whenever you draw it while drafting, you may rotate floor plans. But only while it's in the drafting. It's not for the rest of the day. So if I take the Dovecote, I lose this power. It's not that useful. Dormitory, every time you enter dormitory after drafting a drawing room, gain 10 steps. So this is a better guest bedroom. Actually, I'm going to take that. Let's actually look at what the other one is, though. The casino, games a chance. This has some money in it, usually, and there's some games where you can win stuff. It's not that important. I think I'm going to take the dormitory, because the dormitory will at least act as a guest bedroom with greater powers. Treasure trove. This is good to have. And I want to open this and see what's inside. Yeah, this is attempt number 3. You know what? I will use my key now, I think. And then take a nice picture of this. Hold on, let me make sure I'm set. Because one thing I did not do in my original file is take pictures of all the notes in the treasure trove. So I'm going to do that here. So we have a blue chest with a sun on it. I'm going to review the notes. I'm going to tab over to my other thing for a second. What they say here. The first note was a green note, said the green memos you find in this room will always be true. But it was in a white box with a moon symbol on it. And then the second note was a blue note saying that green memos in white boxes are always lies. So no, the green memos will not always be true. If they're in a white box, they'll always be a lie. So let's see what's in this blue sun symbol one. The true treasure of the trove is not in the house. Take a good picture of that for my, I was about to say spank bank. I'm not sure what that joke would be. I don't know if it's even that funny. But if you've been following this video series, you already know that I don't tell funny jokes. This one was in a blue chest with a sun symbol. So it could be true, because we know that green notes are lies if they're in a white box, but this is in a blue box. So it's possible this is true. In which case, we have to determine what this could possibly mean if the true treasure of the trove is not in the house. So let's just ruminate on that. I'm not using a key there, though. I need to go get more keys. Take my money. Maybe put a dead end here. We'll see. This is a good spot for one. Yes, this is a good spot for the attic. Also very glad I removed the gem cost of this room. Compass, not helpful. I was thinking battery pack would be what I really want. Oh, and broken lever. That's one thing I want. So now I just gotta find the battery pack somehow. Anything else in here that I can pick up? Yes. Oh, there. It's almost invisible. Key. Now I'm not worried about those. Let's see what I can get out of here. Dead end is fine at this point. Yeah, let's guest bedroom. Get it out of my draft pool. So, head back this way. I did not get the battery pack, so I can't yet make the thing. Now, it's not going to be useful to me to make a jackhammer all that much. I forget if I talked about it at all. Like, I think I showed that I could make the jackhammer, but instead I made the power hammer. The jackhammer has a very particular use that I never do in my main playthrough because it's not worth it to me. So I don't know if I'll do it in this playthrough just to show you because it could backfire pretty hard. Okay, observatory. This thing. So there's going to be a big gem day, as was going to be. I love having lots of gems. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll try to be healthy from now on. I want to try to get a courtyard here. West Wing Hall's fine, too. What other sanctum keys can I go for? Vault. Ooh, it's tempting. I'd have to find a vault key, which I don't have the power to do right now. Office is good for computer. But also, I want to see if I can get the conservatory. Well, I didn't get it there. Nursery is going to give me more steps. Break room is good. What does it take? I'm going to try one more redraw here. Key 8, that's what I put in there. I'll take the key 8, whatever. Because at the very least, I can get myself more allowance. But there's definitely going to come a day when I just don't need any more. There's just nothing else I can do with it. Spare room? Yeah, because it's not going to be locked anyway. Reading nook? I don't want the library? No, I do, because there's books I haven't checked out yet. It's the, Oh, no, I did check out I think I checked out a book yesterday. So I'm going to take the library here, and we're going to read a book together. You and me. Just the two of us. No one else needs to know. Shh. The History of Orindia. Now we got something important to read. Ajera to Iraja. So we read this book like 20 days ago or something, and it was heavily censored. So now we're going to see what it really has to say. Forward, Orindia was once the name used to designate the realms of the eastern waters. Though the term is no longer employed in the halls of politics, nor commonly known to the average citizen, its memory flickers in the hearts of those who hail from the lands that it once encompassed, and many of the elder generation in hushed circles still refer to themselves as Orindians. Yet we must not let the flame of our history dwindle into the obscurity of whispered conversations, nor permit our leaders to enjoin us to abandon the name of our land. We must keep alive the embers of our past and preserve them for the generations yet to come. Already we've got some new stuff here. Orindia, the realms of the eastern waters. Not sure exactly what that is, but we were not told that that was what this was. We were kind of told to abandon the past. Abandon the past. The average citizen in hushed circles still refer to themselves as Orindians. Got a crown here we can look at. It's neat. Ajera, Castle Orindia. Most historians mark the beginning of the First Era, often denoted as Ajera, by the ascension of the first king of Orindia, whose name Oris would later grace the burgeoning township in which he was crowned. Oris was known before his coronation as a prominent merchant lord of considerable means and affluence, whose sway in the region made him the ideal candidate for the unification of the surrounding provinces. Regrettably, history is not always forthcoming, and the surviving records of those bygone days are mostly limited to trade agreements and sales receipts. Nevertheless, we can deduce from these ledgers that Oris had but one aim: expansion. The territory spread forth from the heart of Oris, and by the end of the first century, the black banners of Orindia could be seen fluttering in every hamlet and hostelry. That's not what it was. I said hostelry. Don't know what that is. Hostelry. Along every thoroughfare, from Oris all the way to the western banks, a new kingdom was born, and this castle Orindia. This kind of looks like the castle we saw, again, like 20 days ago, in the lower area where the gear puzzle was. On the upper level of the gear puzzle, there was a window we could look through where we saw this, like, abandoned castle look something like this. Second era. It was the fourth king of Orindia who split this vast domain into 3 equal shares, 3 realms for his 3 children. To the eldest he granted the fields and the mountains of the great-grandfather, the middle province and heartspring of the kingdom. The eldest accepted the gift and called his new realm Orinda Ares, after the angelic paragon of royalty, Orinda. Alright? To the youngest he bestowed upon him the realm of Arch Ares, the land of the northern storms, a wild and untamed expanse which at the time was not as developed but a good deal more vast than the eldest brother's lot. And to his middle child, his only daughter, he gifted her the southern region of Iraja, the mystical realm of the ancestors, a land steeped in tradition, magic, and the poetry of the old tongue. Third Era. As the Second Era drew to a close, the 3 sovereign realms had achieved a period of remarkable progress and prosperity. Each of these distinct regions, ruled by their respective sibling monarchs, had blossomed, cultivating the bountiful resources of their lands, and developing a unique character and culture that set them apart from one another. Despite those differences, the sibling monarchs managed to maintain friendly relations throughout their lives, and were known for their cooperation in matters of trade and transportation. The succeeding generations of their heirs continued that tradition, and the Third Era was defined by the construction of a vast network of railways that spanned the length and breadth of the land, linking the northern mountains of Arch Ares to the southern shores of Iraja. This development facilitated travel and commerce between the 3 realms, further strengthening their bond and laying the foundation for the promise of a prosperous and bright future, a promise that would unfortunately, as my readers will soon find, not be kept. So we have Arch Ares, Orinda Ares, Iraja. Fourth Era. As the kingdom of Orinda Ares entered the Fourth Era, a different kind of ruler took the reins of power. King Desolates III was a king who listened to the voices of all his subjects, from the most influential advisors to the humblest of citizens. Now, I remember from the censored book, they kind of made this guy out to be kind of an idiot. He was a king who was often seen among the people, eating, drinking, and conversing, a sight that shocked not only the gentry and the court, but the masses as well, who could scarcely believe that they, as peasantry, would ever sup with the crown. Desolates was renowned as the king of the people, and it was therefore a surprise to no one when he made the decision to move the capital from the secluded mountains of Reddington to the public stage of Auris, leaving castle and court behind. The people were overjoyed by this choice, and the city welcomed their king with open arms and great fanfare. Yet not all were swayed so easily. There were those that viewed the king's conduct to be unbecoming of his station and were wary of how readily he could be persuaded by the tears and tales of the common folk. These dissenting voices planted the seeds of discontent which took root in the lawns and gardens of the nobles of Fen, or as I have been instructed to say, the grand city of Fen. Era of ruin. After the passing of King Desolates III, the Fourth Era came to an abrupt end. Thankfully, the king died naturally in his old age and surrounded by his people in Auris, far away from the growing unrest among the western city of Fen. On the very next day, the 6th of October, the self-proclaimed Prince Laerson of Fen declared himself the true monarch. This declaration was bolstered by a surprising number of supporters due to the fact that Desolates IV, different king, shared his father's good name but little of his virtues. As the prospect of civil war seemed inevitable, the realm's regiments were hastily recalled from the frontiers to stamp out and put an end to the Fensurrection. However, instead of restoring order, what ensued was a savage and merciless campaign against their own people. The gardens of Fen, once a center of splendor, were transformed into a battlefield as the cries of the innocent echoed through the city streets, stained in red. So we can see that. Morning Bay. The brutality of the pacification of Fen did not go unnoticed by neighbors. As sympathy for the city surged, allies came forward to lend support. Among them was the general of the Northern Regiment, who, sickened by the barbaric actions of the other battalions, joined forces with Prince Laerson to form a formidable army. Together they leveraged their political influence and favors to persuade the nearby realms of Arch Ares and Nuance to join their cause. Yeah, that's where we saw Nuance. That's another one of the realms. However, even with the tide turning in their favor, victory did not come easy. The War of the Fifth Era lasted 22 long years, and saw buried 1 in every 3 men. Prince Laerson himself added another number to the casualties. However, even in death he had won. Auris had fallen, and with it the realm. The black flags that had flown for 5 eras were burned, and in their place, red banners were hoisted in honor of the fallen of Fen. The few remaining members of the former royal family fled in fear of their lives to the south, forever exiled. South is where Iraja is. The current era. Today, the realms inherited by the 3, Fen Ares, Arch Ares, and Iraja, once again stand united as allies. Though the distance between our peoples has grown, our connection to this land remains as strong as ever. The spruce and birch that span across our realms serve as a constant reminder that we all share a common past. And as those trees continue to grow, so do our hopes for a common future, a future where we are not defined by the colors of the banners we raise, but by that which connects us, a land that we each call home. For this is, despite everything else, a land rich in history, a land of myth and wonder, a land that sprung forth the greatest empire the world has ever seen, the land of our fathers, of our mothers, and of our children. This land is, after all that has happened, Disneyland. Still Orindia. Okay, that's the book. Nothing else to magnify, I don't think. Yeah, there's nothing here. Excuse me. So let's talk about this book because it's really, really important for the puzzle we're doing in the Sanctum. So when we get the Sanctum keys, we unlock a room where we have to create a sigil of one of the 8 realms. Now, we've already done the sigil for Orinda Ares. We've seen what that is from the book Realm and Rune. We know that was the area. It used black as the outline color, which is the color of Orindia. I don't remember if that's what they said at the beginning, but they definitely said it at the end. The black flags that had flown for 5 eras were burned. So that's gone. It used to be Orinda Ares is the location in the central area here. But Orindia is all 3 of these. Then it was split into 3 by one of the kings. So Orinda, Aries, Arch Aries, Araja, and we know Arch Aries and Araja are these symbols, and this is yellow and this is purple. Then at a certain point, there was a king, this guy Desolate, who was kind of a cool dude, but there were some people who didn't like him in the city of Fen. After he died, his son was kind of a dip, so people rose up against the son, and there was a civil war. And this guy lost. Larson won, even though he died in the winning. So it basically renamed the place, so it's no longer Orinda Aries. Now it's Fen Aries, Grand City of Fen, and they've erased all mention of the original Orinda Aries and Orindia. And so there's this big campaign of censorship against the actual history of the place. So this book lets us know what that is. Orindia, Orinda Aries, that's the black one, the sigil. We're going to use this information from this book. Excuse me. We're going to use the information from this book to piece together some more sigils. So we know Orinda Aries. Fen Aries, we don't have to do a lot of work on because we've seen the image in a couple other books. But the thing that's interesting about Fen Aries is what is the same as Orinda Aries, what's different. The color and the sigil are different. Fen is red and it's got a pentagon. Orinda Aries is black and has this symbol. However, both are going to use the foggy style of ray. We've seen that. We've seen the Orinda Aries one is the foggy style ray. Fen Aries also has that, but they have a different number of rays. Fen Aries has 4 in the X pattern, while Orinda had 3 to symbolize train journeys. And that's what that meant, because where is it? Yeah, that's what they were saying, how the development facilitated travel. So these 3 were all connected by trains. And when the Fensurrection happened, they destroyed that. Where is it? Does it say that specifically? It doesn't say specifically, but the train stuff was removed because it no longer used the train symbol on the sigil, which should have been the 3-way, like the Y-shape rays. It's using the cross pattern. So that tells you something about what was done there. And then what else was it? The moats. Yeah, Fen Aries uses the teeth, which is the military moats, and Orinda Aries uses the like building shapes for a metropolitan. So there's 2 other locations we can get from this book: Arch Aries and Araja. We know the colors and the sigils from here. So what we need to find is what the moats would be, what the rays would be, the styling, and the number of rays. We can gather a little bit from this. Arch Aries, the land of storms. So we're going to look for the ray style for Arch Aries that is symbolizing storms. That's what we need to find there. Araja, we're not going to get from this book for the style of rays. Now, the number of rays we are, because all 3 of these places used train travel. All 3 of them. Fen Aries took over here and now no longer uses the train system, but these 2 do not have a history that involves that train system being taken away. So both of these are going to use trains. So now the only thing we need to know for here is the moat style, and here we need to know the ray style and the moats. But we do know the moats for Araja because it's listed here as a land of poetry and of the old tongue. So we're going to use the poetic moats for that one. So I'm referencing a book that we can't see here, but when we see the sigil, I can show you what I'm talking about. So we could decide to brute force it. Arch Aries, we just need to know what the moats are. There's 7 possibilities, I think, or 8. It's pretty easy to get. Araja, we just need to know the style of the ray, and there are 7 of those? Don't remember. We could brute force them, but there are ways to get both of these. I don't know if I'll get that, or if I just decide to brute force it like I did in my main playthrough, because I had 4 out of 5 information. Now there are 4 more realms, one of which is Carrerica, we've seen the name of, and we know the symbol, and we know it's orange. And the other is Nuance, which was listed in here, which we know transportation-wise, because the stamp that we saw has a blimp on it, so we know that. Then the other 2 areas we don't know anything about right now. Cool. That was fun. I hope everyone liked me reading that book to them. Let's see. What would be useful to do today after that? I forget what else I was thinking of. Well, let's just go and see what we find. Aquarium is fine. It's really the only thing that gets this day to go anywhere else. So we're going to do that. Oh, right. If I find a battery pack, I can make the last item I haven't made. I wouldn't be making it because I plan to use it. I would just have it, so to speak. Security is good because I can now use the computer to make an experiment. I heard the metal detector go off. Okay. So, is there anything else here? Yeah, there's probably just one coin somewhere. I think I want this set to low because I don't have a key card with me. Let me check. I didn't pick one up, right? Well, I'll log into the network, see what's going on. So I want to get to the laboratory. Excuse me. Actually, can I see the announcements here? I see more. Yeah, I can see more announcements now because I've unlocked that data pack. So this was the one from day one. The second day. Hey, Simon, how was your first day on the estate? Hopefully you're not having too much trouble drafting rooms, as it can be a bit overwhelming. I'm normally in charge of drafting the rooms for the day each morning, so I know how it goes. And Babbage. Then the third day. Just to let everyone know, the estate has been cut off from outside communications, Sinclair's instructions, so I don't think Simon's going to be seeing anything posted here for the time being. That's more. Now you tell me, and I'm guessing this means electronic mail accounts are disabled as well, and Babbage. Yes, he should only be able to access data currently on the system, so if he does figure out the network password, he should be able to read any emails that were on the system on November 6th, as that is when satellite communications were shut down. I'm getting anxious. Does anyone have any updates on Simon's progress? Okay, so that November 22nd is going to be day 15. We'd already gotten to room 46 by then, so Kimberly Thompson's asking what's the progress after we've already succeeded. No real word on his progress, was very hard to say without access to the network from here. I'm monitoring a few things from the offices in Cinca, but it doesn't really paint a picture of what's happening over there. Your guess is as good as mine. It's been a month now. Anyone know we were expected to return to work? I know we don't have much information at this time about what's happening on the estate. My sister's planning a trip in a week. It'd be nice to know if this indefinite leave has any expected end date. Hey, Bridget, thanks for checking in. It's a bit complicated, but the short answer is no. We don't really know when we'll be going back to work, so by all means take that trip and have fun. These indefinite furloughs only happen once in a career. That's as far as it goes because December 7th is day 31. Right? November is 30 days. We started on day 7, so day 31 is Tuesday, December 7th, which is today. Right? Or was it yesterday? Day's 31? I don't remember. Special orders. What would be useful? If I want to make a jackhammer, it has to be a shovel, battery pack, and broken lever. Shovel's the only thing I can order, and I don't ever have problems finding a shovel. So what would be the most important thing to do? Magnifying glass? Magnifying glass is always good. Electronic mail, maybe? No, I still don't see that. Hold on, I didn't make... Oh, I didn't... The thing I was doing this for was for the laboratory, so I could make an experiment. And see if I get one that will be useful to either draining the reservoir or clearing the tunnel. Continue with experiment. Letter to the mailroom is good. Lower the water in the reservoir. Ooh, this is going to be tricky because I don't have the key card. Draft an upgraded floor plan. I'm going to try this. I'm going to lower the water level of the reservoir. Because eventually I'll have it cleared out. I don't have to worry about the boiler room puzzle. I just don't have to do it. I can't do anything here because I do not have the key card. So... Oh, I do have a door out here I can go through if I do end up in a bit of a pickle. Cloister of Rinna. You know what? Let's try it. I'm going to see if I can get any green rooms out. Reservoir's been lowered. That's always good. Key. Okay, I'm fine on keys. I'm not worried about those at all. I'm just worried about security doors popping up at the wrong time. Actually, we have this here too. We saw the cipher. I keep saying cipher. It isn't a cipher. It's just like an acrostic. Castle. Now, this is kind of hard to see because it's very, very small, but we have C, X, E, and T. Oh, I could say since C is for castle, then E is the last of castle. It should be C blank X, E blank T. Now we also saw that thing that said ID, and I thought it meant this part here, but it might not be there. It might be the top center ID right here. So CIX, AD blank, S blank blank, T blank blank, L blank blank, E blank T. But we're starting to piece those together. I don't know. We'll find more somewhere else. Let's see if I can get a green room. If I had the secret garden key, it would just be an automatic one. Terrace. Luck is increased. I'm going to find more items. Now, what kind of items would I like? Battery pack, please. Although, at this point in the day, I don't actually need the jackhammer, because I know what I'd use it for, and it's not for anything I have. Vault. The game really wants me to have a vault here, but I don't want one here. What would I want instead? Because I don't have the key for this. It's not useful to me. Secret passage. What would I make out of that? A spare room just gets the spare room out of my house. So I don't want red rooms. Green rooms? Hallways? Let me try a hallway. I think this is going to backfire on me. How do I make a passageway at the back end of this? That seems like a waste. You can't go out the back of that. Aquarium is every color. I'm going to take the hallway because it's also an upgraded room, so it lowers the reservoir a bit more. Let's see. Furnace is not my favorite here. Freezer would actually be kind of useful because I would keep all these gems tomorrow. But I still have exploring to do, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to redraw. Solarium doesn't help me because it's not out of the cloister. Dormitory is fine. I think I'd get this because I have drafted a drawing room. I've drafted multiple, so I'd get the 10 steps, but I'm okay at steps. There's the vault. You really... now that I don't have the key, the vault's showing up everywhere. Office could be useful. Not as useful as a conservatory. I have exactly 2 green rooms. No, I don't. I have an aquarium. I have more than 2, so this is useless. Keys, kind of useless. I can get a couple. I get a special key here. It's the silver key. All right. Sure. Let's just get some food and get out. Doopy doopy doo. I do not have a showroom, so just 20 steps. Okay, can I make anything else out of this day? Maybe I can go down and do the sigil puzzles and just brute force some stuff. Oh, hold on. Car keys. Well, I don't have a garage, so screw that. I can try coming up the treasure trove side and see if anything happens there. Oh, hold on. I also can come out this way, see if I can get a green room. Silver key might get me something. Okay, that backfired on me. Rotunda really is the best option I have. I mean, the Rotunda is good because it's essentially a 4-way. You just get 2 at a time, so you kind of have to wait for everything. This goes the wrong way. This goes the right way. I think I'm going to have a coughing, hacking, sneezing fit in a second here. I hope this sounds as pleasant to you as it does to me. Alright, bedroom time. Hey, there's a die. That's good. Pantry? Like what? Sure. So this is the note I had to just trust me on. It says bridge there. That was the clue from before. Oh, right. I have key 8. I should have used that earlier. Walk-in closet, maybe? Darkroom connects to antechamber, but I don't care about that. I can get steps back for this? Again, I don't need steps. But I could get an item. Key card. That's a good item to have. And then, yeah, this will let me go down these ways. Let's head this way, see if I can't use key 8 to get myself more allowance. Because, hey, it doesn't hurt. Let's just at least put this down here because the reservoir is lowered. Might as well solve the puzzle because if I solve enough of these puzzles I get a trophy, so I should be doing that even if it's not a lot of gems. This box is empty. There are 2 empty boxes. There are 2 true boxes. Well, this is true. So if this is false, then this is also false. If this is... So this is true. If this is true, then that's false. So this is false no matter what. This seems like an easy puzzle. They're supposed to get harder. I think what's happening here is because I've entered this room so many times without doing the puzzle, the game is assuming I've sucked at it and is making it easier for me. Ah, this one didn't have a... Okay. Well, not using key 8. It's fine. And I can't get to there because the pool is full. Locksmith, boudoir, planetarium. Oh, let's redraw. Let's redraw this. What break room is fine. That's gonna. I'll see if I can find the break room elsewhere. What I'd really love is the conservatory. I don't get it. Why is the conservatory just not showing up? And now the vault showing up all over the place when I couldn't get it to save my life before. Sure, let's grab a bunch of gems. It's always a good room to have. Now I don't have to worry about these ever again. Ah. I'm trying to think what I would do with all this money. Maybe make a locksmith of some kind? I don't have to do that. I'm going to take the rotunda down. Actually, I'm going to turn it one more time because I want it to be going this direction. Still not really able to find a battery pack, which is annoying. I wonder what kind of room would have it. Boudoir's going the wrong way, but I can rotate floor plans because I'm in the rotunda. I don't want this. That gets rid of all my gems. Reservoirs. Right. This is working out for me pretty good. So if the reservoir was at 6, and I've triggered this 4 times, I should trigger it 2 more times to make the reservoir completely empty. I'm going to redraw. Mechanarium? How many gear rooms do I have? Security's 1. Workshop is 2. This would be 3. Is this a good place for it? I think it'll give me access to where I want to go. Yeah, it gives me... Hold on a second. has a number of doors equal to this, right? And we've seen that it has doors in these recesses. So it can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I get 8 doors in here, I think that's how I get my sanctum key. Which one of these is better? Anything in here? Not really. I could end the day here, get a bunch of stars. This would be the final thing I do? No, there's still more I could do if I made this here. Let's get more keys, because I could really use keys at this point. Now, there's going to be stuff inside these lockers. I just don't have enough keys to explore. If I had a ton of keys, I'd go nuts, but I don't, so I'm going to just take it easy on keys for a bit. Now, if I get all the keys that are being spread throughout the house, maybe I come back here and I try them all out. I don't have a conference room, so they're not all spread to one spot. So here's where I just hope that I can just get more keys. Study, dark room. Break room's good, because I get the key card tomorrow. This will start me off with how many keys tomorrow? 1, 2, 2. I think the break room has to go here. Reservoir, right? One more trigger of this, and actually I'll be fine with the reservoir. 2, 8 minus 13 is -5. No, hold on. 8 times 2 first. 16 minus 13 is 3. 5, no, hold on. -4 plus 5 is 1. 11, yeah. 3 minus 18? No, 3 times 5 is 15. Minus 18 is 3. Times 3 is 9. So now I could make an upgraded room out of here. No, I can't. Oops. Well, that's still good enough. What would I do with this? Nothing. I could try to buy a special key that I put away. To start with tomorrow. Yeah, I could start tomorrow with a secret garden key if I wanted. Because I needed to trigger this 6 times in order to fully drain the reservoir. And I don't have a pump room, so I can't do it today. That has to be done another day. Now, coat check, I could put the secret garden key in, just have that tomorrow. That might be the best thing to do, so I'll start tomorrow with a key card, and then easily get a secret garden key. I think I can do all that. What I also want to do, is head down to the basement because I want to look at the sigils. Do I? Actually, now that I say it out loud, do I want to look at the sigils and brute force them, or do I want to wait until I've collected the information the correct way? Because you can brute force it with the information that we did today. Like, we have enough information to do 2 more sigils. What the heck? Oh, just right there. But we can always wait till we have the correct information, which I forget the correct place to find it. I don't need these keys anymore. Did we buy everything here? Yeah, we did. I'm not super concerned with getting the sigils today. So what we're going to do is head back. Oh, the break room's all the way back this way, though. Yeah, we got over 100 steps. I could just wander around and do a bunch of stuff, but... nope, hold on. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out to the outer room. And I'm going to see if I can draft a shrine and get another shrine blessing. One we haven't seen before. So I'll do... We did up to 10 coins, so I'd want to donate 11 coins and see what that gets us. If we don't get a shrine, that's fine. I just want to get it. Yeah! Yay! The game loves me again. Alright. Confirm. This is the blessing of the Tinkerer. Whenever you draft a mechanical room, trigger current experiment. That would have been a good one for me to set up at the beginning of the day. But we will find a use for that over the next couple days, I think. It's not the most useful. We have to get the experiment going and then draft mechanical rooms, and all of the computers are in mechanical rooms, I think. No, not the office. But like the security, we'd end up drafting it first and then choosing an experiment on it. So we can't get like a ton of experiments for that, but we can trigger it that way. Maybe drain the reservoir some more. Actually, we don't want to do that. The reservoir is already at 1, so I only want to do that if that's the only thing that's good. I want to do stuff like gain more allowance or remove crates from the tunnel. So yeah, it just doesn't seem like there was a big thing we did today, but we did learn a lot of information that's going to help us later. I will go down and deal with the sigils some other day. Oh, that's what that is. Just not today. Anything else? Oh, hey, there's some food. I don't know why I'm looking for it. It's not like I'm doing anything more in this run. Tell you what, I'm just going to call it a day here. So hopefully tomorrow we get some more information that'll help us with these sigil puzzles. And maybe get ourselves another sanctum key. We need the throne room, we need the vault plus a vault key combo. We also need the, what was the other one? We need that, we need the drained reservoir, and last, door of 8, probably the mechanarium. So I need to find a way to get 8 doors on the mechanarium. Well, that's all for me for today. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you all have a good one. Bye for now.